Well, hello and welcome back to the Growth Mindset Collective. And today marks our 20th session together, Nikki. How
Yeah,
exciting!
feeling great about that.
Me
That's pretty
too.
good.
Yeah, it's been amazing, and we learn from each other. And I hope you guys are getting a lot from us too. Please let us know if you like to see something new, some other topic. Give us suggestions. We'd love to hear from you. But today, on our 20th episode, we're going to talk about the 7 levels of awareness. So,
Hmm.
um, I love this topic. It actually, first time I heard about it was actually from Bob Proctor's teachings. It's a powerful framework that shows how we evolve from simply surviving to living in true mastery. So I love this topic, and let's start. Nikki, what do you have for us? I love to hear what you have always.
Well, that's a wonderful way to put it, is a move into mastery. Self-mastery is probably the best word statement there, but like the levels of awareness that separate us is animals are aware, they're like aware of their environment, but we have the awareness of being, and we have the awareness of our state of consciousness. And that allows us to have a power of assumption. And those last two things are what separate us from everything else and allow us to live in the world that we live in. And we were just, Ava and I are just going to break it down for you and simply go through the next 7 levels for you.
All
Let me
right.
let me say what they are briefly before you get started. One is animal, two is mass, three is aspiration, four is individual, five is discipline, six is experience, and seven is mastery, of course.
Of course. All right. So you want to start or you want me to start?
You go ahead with one.
Okay, so of course, starting with the first one, the animal survival mode. So at this level, people operate purely on instinct and survival. Life is about fight or flight responses, reacting to circumstances without conscious thought, really. Discussions are usually based on fear, danger, or immediate gratification. And example I could give you maybe like someone who lashes out in anger without actually considering the consequences.
That's good. I have a shorter note for animal. So it was good that you started. Level two is mass. Our paradigm starts to form inside us before we are born. It is in our genes. Robertson Davies called it bred in the bone. And then after we were born, our family, guardians, and environment continue to form our paradigm. That's something, as we teach understanding our minds and our thinking, that's something that we really help on. We really get you digging in there. Mass also continues to say when children are old enough to go out and play with their friends, we encourage them to get along with and be like the rest of the kids. In other words, we are all programmed as children to follow the masses. This level of awareness, we follow the crowd rather than doing our own thinking. Our objective here is to conform and blend with the crowd, not show any distinctiveness.
That's right. Shall I move on to aspiration now?
On to aspiration. That's level three.
Yeah. So wanting, but not really acting on anything. So this is the dreaming stage. People want more, but don't yet take aligned action. And sometimes we just don't know how, right? So we stay where we are because that's all we're in that box, right? Desire exists, but it's not strong enough to break free from habits or fears. Been there, done that too. Many people get stuck there because they confuse wishing with actually doing. Example for saying, for example, I love to start my own business, but they never move forward. So just one quick example on that one. Yeah. Want to go continue, Nikki?
Level 4, individual. As this at this level, you really begin to dream. You realize you have unique gifts and there is no one else like you. So your intellect, your individuality starts, knocking and wanting its own space. And you want to express your uniqueness as a human being. However, every time you start to move forward, a paradigm of some sort can easily pull you back to level 2, where you continue to follow the masses again, where that comfort zone is. The desire remains, though, so you keep coming back to it and you get locked into a tug of war with yourself, old thoughts, new thoughts, comfort zones, fear. It tells you over and over again that there's no need to follow your silly dreams. That's that darn voice that you get there. And it tells you it's better to stay where you are and where you're safe.
Mm-hmm. Now moving on to discipline. Commitment to growth. This level is about self-mastery through discipline. A person can give themselves a command and follow through, building trust with themselves. Habits shift, consistency develops, and they begin to align actions with goals. Example, waking up early daily to study, train, or work towards a dream. And just want to add here, that's what I had to do when I actually first took up Bob Proctor's coaching a few years ago. That's where I had to start with discipline because I knew I was lacking it in some areas. And then I had to start with somewhere. So and that's where I started to, be consistent, start develop. And you know what? Each one of these levels, I believe we sometimes can slide from one to the next one. In some areas, we'll do a little bit better, in others less. So sometimes I see that, sometimes you be in mastery in one thing, but then you sometimes fall back to maybe you need that discipline again and stuff like that. So I feel you constantly shifting. Go ahead, Nikki.
Yeah, and as you continue to practice a discipline, you become more and more comfortable with it, and you adapt more and more to your growth and to yourself. And you don't go so much to the comfort, but you start becoming strong enough and brave enough to start going toward, even though the change scares you, you start going toward the fear part a little bit more. Okay, so level 6 is experience. When you apply this steadfast discipline, that's what Ava was going into there, and you see the desires that you manifest, you will feel something you've never felt before. Your life will start to shift, and you want to do more of the same. Yeah, once you really experience manifesting things, you really want to think, how did I do that? And can I do that again? Right?
Exactly.
Yeah, it continues to say, you may have heard that experience is the best teacher. That's because experimental learning is the real thing. At this level, it becomes unnecessary to gather outside information, which is really important for you to grasp. When Ava was talking about um, growing her discipline, she didn't say it, but if you read between the lines, you could hear her saying that at this level it becomes unnecessary to gather information because you know that the answers you're looking for can be found within yourself. So that's why you feel the comfort for the self-discipline and you get more and more strength and so on. And then you move into mastery. Go for it,
Yay.
girl.
And of course, our favorite, mastery, right? So respond versus react usually. The highest level of awareness. At this stage, people are calm, present, and intentional. They have control over their mind, emotions, and actions, choosing to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. They influence their environment instead of being controlled by it. For example, a leader who stays grounded under pressure and makes decisions from clarity rather than fear. So I also want your input on this one, on mastery, since it's the highest one. What do you have for that one?
Oh, well, like I have experienced something really interesting this year because I started a group of my students almost 4 years ago, and we all did our big goals. And I was working with them, and so honestly, I got the bigger blessing because I was working the program, I was meditating and praying for my students, then I was teaching. So I was doing everything that we were talking about here, and you really do learn to master things. You get in an ease and flow. Some of the tensions that come into you don't exist anymore, or else it takes you 20 minutes to deal with it. Well, before it used to take a long time, or it used to knock you back a few levels. So once you start working in this groove, and once you start feeling that level of creation and that harmony that you feel within everything, that peace, mastery starts coming a little easier, and it becomes part of your identity. It becomes part of your smile, it becomes part of your quietness, it becomes just part of your space. Um, Now, do you know you want to suggest some of the things that people could do to help these steps or master these steps? Or
Well, there's great programs out there. Nikki has one. I have one that I go through, and it's called the Wealthy Mindset. So really you have to kind of analyze where you are on this level, I would say. And that's what I did, and not just once, a few times, because as I was shifting, I was like, okay, in this area I might be at mastery, but in another area I might be, need some extra help. So I would go back. I was like, okay, where can I discipline myself better, or where can I become, less following the masses and do other things. And I find myself in certain groups still, and I was like, okay, how can I go now to the next level? Or so there's many different tools out there, but you really have to understand first yourself where you are and where do you want to go. Because if you don't know, how are you gonna get there? Like direction, like Nikki, you're famous
absolute
driving in the
clarity.
States. If you go off track, right?
Mhm.
So I think that's number one step. Where are you, and where are you going? Because once you know that, that's where you start and start building on that. And I look at each level, and I love mastery, because that's what I'm striving for. And I'll be honest with you, there's on this scale I found myself at times in mass, because I followed like a little puppy sometimes in certain areas. But I've also found myself in discipline area and experience, because if you don't have that experience doing something, how are you gonna move forward? You don't know what you like, you don't know what you don't like, so you're stuck, right? You have to have that what do you call that, um yin yang there, right? Figure out where you're going. So I think it's really important to look into this, see where you can better yourself. It might not be in work. It could be in relationships. Are you like everybody else? Oh, I gotta have this, and this person who has that, or are you a person who's focused on specific values? Because
Mhm.
everybody has different values. Are your values aligned, or they're just following the masses because, hey, they said you should have this, so I'm gonna do the same. Well, no. And then years down the road, you find yourself, why did I go here? It's because way back then you didn't really take time to get to know yourself enough, right? So, I mean, there's a lot of things to say about this, but in a nutshell.
Yes. Yeah, so if you're the type to keep learning like Ava and I, we learn every day. We do our best to stay focused. We take a step toward our goal every day. We're taking action, we're paying attention, and we're exercising awareness, self-awareness all the time. So join us or join someplace that will help you or be a like mind like yourself. It's very important to be among people that are very much like you. Ava and I were in a meeting a couple months ago, and the lady said she was from another country, and she said, it's so nice to be with people who understand exactly where I am, what I feel, what I'm thinking, because we're like-minded. So it's important to you not only to study, to stay focused, to take the steps, to pay attention, exercise awareness, but it's important to network. It's important to be with the people that understand you as well. Because I bet, and I bet Ava will bet too, that the people in your circle, your parents, your family, your business friends, so on and so forth, they're not thinking like this.
You know,
So,
the funniest thing about of all this, Nikki, sorry to cut you off. I learned that the more I learned about all this, the more I was addicted to it to even find out more. And that's what mastering your life is about, you know,
yes.
the more you, yeah, I mean, there could be things you discover about yourself you never knew. Some good, some bad. Hey, but you work through them, right? So as you have seen, the 7 levels of awareness do take us on a journey from simply surviving to truly thriving if you let yourself. Each level offers a chance and a choice actually to stay where you are or rise higher. Awareness is power. The more conscious you become, the more freedom you gain to shape your life intentionally. Even there, I thought I always had to do what everybody else did. And then I realized, no, I don't. I am here to live my life, and I'm not afraid to step out and go and get it now. So
Mhm.
remember, growth doesn't happen overnight, too. It happens step by step, decision by decision, as you move through these levels. So ask yourself today, where am I today? And what's one step I can take to rise to the next level? So, Nikki, did you want to add anything or we'll close it up for today?
No, I think that's wonderful.
Awesome. So, thank you so much for joining us today for this conversation. Again, if you found this valuable, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And then reach out to us. We are here for you, and we're eager to, master this life of ours because, as far as I know, it's all we got. So, till next time, I hope you have a wonderful day. And again, everything is in this video, will be posted in the description, how to get in touch with us. And we're here for you guys. So have a beautiful day. Thank you, Nikki.
Thank you, Ava.
Take
Bye.
care. Thank you. Bye bye.